Alright, welcome to the super colorful original telecommunicated transmission, otherwise known as SCOTTCast. I have David here.
What's up, everybody?
Back after a roaring success on episode 8, the Musk of SCOTTCast.
That's right.
How excited are you about the success you've seen so far?
I'm like an 8 out of 10, man. With that being the highest score possible of excitement.
8?
Yeah, like a solid 8.
Why not? Why? What's holding you back from 10 out of 10?
That's only because it can only get better from here, Scott.
Okay, a little bit of room for improvement.
Yeah, there's always room for improvement. Except in the future when you control everything.
We're broadcasting from sunny Hamtramck, Michigan, and I want to say I'm a podcasting robot. I've been dropping pods left and right all day, every day.
I didn't realize this, that this was like a pre-established thing that you're a robot. I thought everybody just knew.
I mean, I am a robot.
Did you become a robot, or you've always been one?
I've not.
Are you becoming self-aware of the fact that you're a robot?
You're hurting my brain. I don't want to talk about the self-awareness question. I am just a robot. If you want to reference SCOTTCast lore, reference episode 4 and reference episode 12.
This is episode 4.
Was that what that was?
That was episode. No, this isn't episode 4. This is episode lucky number 13.
This is episode 13.
Yep.
And for episode 13, I want to unveil one of my greatest schemes I've ever come up with. I was thinking to myself, I want to become the best podcaster in the world. And I think I mentioned to Ian once that I wanted to die and then drop one more pod. I wanted to pod in.
That was me.
That was you?
I'm glad that you just supplement. You're just like trying to transplanting your good memories with me for Ian. That says a lot. That's okay.
Anyway,
you're lucky that there's a filter on me right now, because otherwise you don't want to see me unfiltered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your unfiltered thoughts on that? Yeah, because we're going to be talking about the feud between you and Ian coming up.
The feud that I'm a little behind on. When you're 2 episodes behind on the feud yourself, and you're in the feud, you feel like you're disadvantaged a little bit. So
I mean, it's just how it goes. Once you get a more regular potting schedule, you can catch up on the feud. But I think you're right though, that this disadvantage of you coming in only once in a while versus his weekly come-ins.
I'm the underdog.
You're the underdog. We need to find a place for you both to have an equal playing field to figure out who is the best SCOTTCast co-host. And you guys both provide separate services. Like Ian, he helps.
How do I service you, Scott?
We'll get to it.
Okay.
We'll get to it. Ian, he provides help getting my mental clarity and focus so I can pod better. You provide me with the information necessary in this upcoming pod, keep in mind, on how I can become a superhuman creature who will pod into eternity.
Okay, that sounds pretty cool.
That's right. I need to know how to do that, and you're going to explain how.
That's not scary at all.
Okay, I'm a little bit of... it's best to just think of me as a podcast host, but also a bit of a supervillain. But not a very dangerous one. Just one that podcasts a lot.
Like an evil genius who's also kind of cool. Like that Megamind guy.
No.
No?
What's Megamind?
Megamind's that movie with Will Ferrell where he's like a super genius.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I immediately
like Elon
don't
Musk.
like it.
There we go. Okay.
Okay. I'll take Elon Musk.
There you go.
So, I'm a podding robot, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to learn how to make me a better podcast host.
Build you up, Buttercup.
That's right. So, you're going to do that. But you and Ian still need to find an equal playing field. I can't just compare enhancements, right? Because...
What kind of... This is a family program, Scott. I didn't think we were going to be talking about enhancements on the show. Wait, are we talking about just everybody or just...
Well, you and Ian specifically...
2 men, male enhancements. Okay.
You and Ian specifically make me a better podcast host. Mm-hmm. And now we need to find a way to get you two feuding. in a single location.
Divorce
a single
court.
time.
I don't know.
No,
So-
not divorce
okay.
court.
Sorry. You make me a better person, both of you. But which one do I choose? It's like the classic triangle, the love
I'm
triangle.
not. No, this is not.
This is like Twilight 2.0, Scott. Oh, I'm sorry.
This is only settling the feud. This has nothing to do with me. I'm just the arbiter. I'm just here. I see you guys feuding, tearing at each other's throats, sending me messages back and forth, cussing each other out, being like, I don't like this about his performance. I don't like this about his performance. And I just want you guys to settle it out. Duke them out. We're going to have a face-off show. David and Ian is going to come on to SCOTTCast. And we're going to have a competition of wits, will, and brawn.
Wow. Outlast, outwit, outplay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Survivor.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Probst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that. And it's going to be a great episode.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm not at all bitter about the shots that were fired at me. Otherwise, why would I address it? I mean, if not to just say that I was okay with it.
I like your shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
It's a nice shirt.
Thanks. It's sorry. It's not ironic at all. It's not like me trying to secretly kind of
Are you
explain
Irish?
the fact. I am Irish, thank you.
Okay.
I have been called a racist against the Irish
Have
by
you?
certain individuals,
Ian?
misinformed individuals.
Ian Dixon?
I won't name any names,
I'm naming Ian Dixon and asking with a question mark.
but yeah, he's he made some jabs at my heritage, so and my pride from my people, so saying that I didn't understand Celtic traditions when really I clearly said the word Celtic. It can be debated back and forth. But
Here's my thoughts. What we need here, and I think no one here is clear on Celtic, Irish, Scottish, German.
it sounded to me like Ian doesn't
foreign.
know what Celtic means because it means all of the people that are within the Celtic community, the Irish and the Scottish.
Is that
together.
true?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
It's like the
Did I
the
say that?
Welsh and it's like everybody in the UK pretty much. I don't know. I'm not gonna look it up, but it's like I know it's Irish. Like the Irish and the Scottish are definitely in there, and probably somewhere mixed in there are the people from the UK and Wales and all that good stuff too. But I mean, you asked me if there was Irish traditions. I said there's Celtic traditions, and then
Where did you learn all this stuff about Celtic, Irish
from my ancestors?
ancestry?
Ancestry.com.
Do you think there's a good book about this kind of stuff?
I'm sure that there's a good audiobook that I could listen to it, but
You know what would be a great place to get one of those audiobooks?
what's that, Scott?
Go to audibletrial.com/ScottTcast and sign up for Audible, get a free audiobook.
Wow.
Free 30-day trial. And if you don't like it, if you don't like your experience, you can just cancel it. You keep your audiobook. It's fantastic. You get to support ScottTcast every time you sign up by going to audibletrial.com/ScottTcast. You can download books about Irish heritage, about epigenetics,
Japanese folklore, whatever you
Japanese folklore,
want. And
pronunciation guides for commutes.
we're probably gonna have to do a pronunciation guide for basic words, also Japanese like deities and folklore, and how to pronounce things when you're a non-native speaker and you've been drinking and your kurama sounds like kodama. Kodamu, whatever it was that he said. So
Something. I don't
One
remember
day
what
I'll-
any of you guys say.
I'll address that in a future podcast, Scott. Since it is an issue of contention, I will go on the record under oath.
Please.
Yes, swear me in.
I will swear you in.
I swear by it.
Okay.
The old gods and the new.
Fantastic. And you're going to win this face-off? You're going to win?
We'll see.
You will see. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it. I'll give a spoiler and just let everybody know I'm going to win, but I don't even know how you win yet, so it's
Yeah.
kind of hard.
It's a little fuzzy.
Especially since
I don't plan
guess.
anything for ScottTcast until the day of, so I might plan something like a few days ahead of it for this one because it's going to be a special ScottTcast.
like a bare knuckle boxing match.
That's right.
Yeah, just old school, and yeah, that should be fun. Mm-hmm. Of course you can't hit the face. Of course, it's a face off. So Ian's beautiful face won't be destroyed. It's okay. The Ian fanboys out and fangirls out there will be. They would be disturbed by that. So, and then it would be an audio only portion of the podcast, which we're trying to push this video thing, so yeah, it's good. Are we trying to push it? I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about.
We're just offering many different media formats from everybody.
Yeah.
Like, and that includes email, and you know what that means. Email bag.
I love them emails.
Okay, it's time for the SCOTTCast email bag. This email comes from a user named the Dancing Brit, a listener named the Dancing Brit. You think it's a British person?
I do think that if it might be a double entendre because the name Brit or is short for Brittany, and that does mean someone from Britain. So yeah,
okay,
Britons.
Britons.
Yeah. I also specialize in etymology. If any of you guys have a certain name that you would like to be expanded upon, its origins, I know that stuff. I know that stuff.
Etymology. So this is what Dancing Brit writes. I'm writing you this email because I am hot about SCOTTCast.
Ooh.
So hot, in fact, that I wanted this email address for my personal use. She's referring, of course, to hot4scottcast@gmail.com. That's hot, the number 4, and then scottcast@gmail.com. And she was quite peeved when she found out that it had already been taken. But hey, you win some, you lose some. So, Scott, I guess I have to trust that you will handle the dire life, blah, blah, blah. I started listening to your show at the Musk of SCOTTCast. This is a very interesting entry point.
Wait, that was the one with, who was in Musk of SCOTTCast?
I was with the David Vanderheeden.
Yeah, you can follow me at facebook.com/thedavidvanderheeden.
Brittany's got some good comments. She's got some sweet comments. Very nice.
Sweet.
She likes the video and audio production quality.
Wow.
Go me.
Wow.
Go me.
Can you blame her?
I mean, she's basing it off the Musk of SCOTTCast, which is the worst produced video SCOTTCast yet. You're at the best and you're at the worst. How does that feel?
Oh, feels. I don't know. I feel ambivalent about it.
Okay, cool. She is a part of this clan of SCOTTCast listeners who are direly in need of me to learn how to pronounce the word commute.
Mm-hmm. Commutism.
And this is the most interesting part of the email that I wanted to bring up for you,
Right.
David, because we all know about fan favorite Ian Dixon. People tune in because it's him. People love Ian Dixon. I get fan emails about Ian Dixon all day. Fan tweets. People are like, "When's Ian coming back? When's Ian coming back? Let's get some more Ian in our lives."
Isn't Ian short for like doing ecstasy?
No.
Okay.
But this is the most interesting part of this email.
Clearly, Scott's not Ian.
You should have that guy David on your show more often. He seems like a really great guy, easy on the eyes too, and some embarrassing emoticon. However, I heard he has this new, wonderful, beautiful, amazing girlfriend, and that he's off the market. Sigh.
Oh, yeah. I guess I didn't mention that, but yeah. This person knows a lot about me.
It's freaky. It's creepy.
Mm-hmm.
You should maybe we shouldn't air this SCOTTCast.
It's like the show will resume after this transmission. It's like a little message.
And then David's gone.
And it's like pull him off.
Okay, so she's admiring you from afar, so she's watching.
Wow, she's really written quite the book here. Is there a question laced in here
Ultimately,
somewhere?
she wants advice.
Okay.
She wants to know if she should get an Android or an iPhone. Somehow she managed to get to that point.
Oh,
Eventually in the email.
It was building up to that.
It was building up to Android versus iPhone.
It was all there.
A lot of buttering up, and then tell me which phone to buy.
I'd say maybe since we're going to be talking about cyborgs and androids in the show, I would say definitely go with the Android.
Me too.
Okay. Me too. I also think that.
Yeah.
Good.
So.
As you should. I don't think it requires any explanation.
No.
But thank you for the question, the Dancing Brit.
I guess.
Probably a beautiful, intelligent, talented, cool person there.
Maybe.
That was...
Let's get to the real meat of the episode for this listener. So I was sending a message to a friend of mine, and I was bringing up the idea in the future, the upper class of society is going to have access to more expensive medical treatments that are going to include like using robots and stuff to do gene therapy to make people a better human kind of being. And I want to tell you what I wrote because it reminded me of something.
So you recommended SCOTTCast because SCOTTCast is all about being better than you are.
Yeah, it is. SCOTTCast is about being better than you are. Once you listen to SCOTTCast, you just become a better person.
And in the future, when this is advanced to a certain point, you won't even have to worry about voluntarily participating. You'll just be better because you'll be part of the hive mind.
Yeah, it's called cyber hacking. It's like once you subscribe to SCOTTCast, all the SCOTTCasts get beamed into you.
Mm.
And you
sounds exhilarating.
One with the SCOTTCast. But anyways, I was talking to my friend, and I was telling my friend, baby making isn't necessary in about a generation. The rich will be cloning and genetically modifying their children for positive traits, creating a feedback loop that will not only create a wealth gap between the classes, but a genetic one as well. The rich will learn better, live longer, be immune to more diseases, while the poor will struggle along in genetically inferior bodies like French bulldogs, wheezing and plugging along on daily tasks. Eventually, the rich and the poor won't be able to breed, and the rich will merge with technology, and the poor will either be consumed or ignored, creating two separate species, a godlike one and a prehistoric one. The godlike ones will be revered, and the prehistoric ones will create monuments to them like the pyramids.
That sounds like the same old stuff, Scott. You know,
Same old stuff.
Just a different flavor.
Yeah.
Same old thing. You got the divide there. So, interesting.
But the point is,
there's a point.
The point is that I want to be the best podcasting host possible, and I'm gonna get in on this genetically modifying game.
I mean, you might as well.
I need your assistance and your advice to getting started.
Oh, I'd be happy to help, Scott.
So tell me about it. Tell me what I can do.
Okay, so that was a bit of a sentence there. That was almost like that kind of sentence you would read in one of those novels. There's one of the long-winded sentences you'd read in one of those novels that you
David Foster Wallace.
Yes,
perhaps.
Great name, by the way.
It's a great name.
Wasn't David Wallace the guy from The Office? Half the people you listed sounded like people from TV shows. I was like, is this real?
Yeah, they were all real authors.
Like James Joyce is like Jim Joyce. That was the guy who blew Armando.
I've never watched The Office.
Oh, it's not from The Office. It's from the Tigers. He blew that one guy's perfect game. It was
that's right.
It was the umpire who effed up, and he said he was safe, and he was crying afterwards. He's like, I took away that guy's perfect game. It's like, all right. So what are we talking about?
I'm trying to get some information, some inside scoop. How can I become a genetically superior being so I can podcast better?
Okay, Scott. So, kind of going into the human physiology aspect of it, there's two ways you can go into it. Okay, you can look at it from the way that we're going to modify ourselves biologically, physiologically, or you can look at it from the way technology is going to approach it and modify us. Okay, let's start with the biological aspect. Okay. First of all, you're going to look into a little thing called epigenetics. Okay. Epigenetics.
What's epigenetics?
It's like epic genetics without the C.
No. What is it?
Oh, what is it literally?
Yes.
Well, what it is so basically, our bodies, our DNA has every piece of information that it would ever need for all of the mammal kingdom in there, right? If it wants you to be a rat, it expresses the rat genes. If it wants you to be a human, it expresses the human genes, right?
Right.
So we're no different from the mice that we test on, Scott. But
wait a minute. Oh, I have a question now. It just came from the spring of my mind. The wellspring of my mind. This is live potting, folks.
Live.
Does this mean that there's a finite combination of living beings?
There is subtle variations, so there is a certain percentage that's different from separates us from each of the other mammals. But for the most part, if you look at throughout history, it's there's ancient mutations that we have that are locked within our genome that just are not expressed, and certain things that are vestigial on us, for example, are no longer expressed as much. There was probably other vestigial things we had too that was just kind of opted out. But if we wanted to get it back, maybe something, there's some kind of environmental change and our bodies have to adapt. It's still in there. The potential is still kind of locked away. So what you could do is, if you look into epigenetics, you could look and go through that. We've already mapped the human genome.
Okay.
But we just don't know what everything does. Okay, you can start. I mean, that's like, knowing where all the switches are at and just like, it's like pressing all the buttons on the elevator. Okay, or it's like just switching. You lose power and you go to the circuit breaker and you don't know which things flip forward. You just start flipping things randomly. Okay, you gotta know what each one does. You gotta have labels that say this goes to the living room. This goes to your.
I have an idea. Right? I remember a few episodes ago. You're a loyal listener. Remember a few episodes ago when I was talking to Ian about his cat and how we should clone a mass army of them.
I do. Jonesy?
Yeah, Jonesy the cat. Can we experiment on this cat? The thousands and legions of clones that will eventually be created.
So what are you saying, that you take like a bunch of Jonesies and you use each one of them and like you test out almost using like lab rats, like just...
Yeah, here's my thought.
Okay,
here's my thought. Here's the scheme.
What's your thought, Scott?
The evil scheme is that I'm creating this company that will clone Jonesy, Ian's cat, which is a very well-tempered, cuddly, fun cat. You can wear him as a scarf. Great. And I'm going to mass produce this cat. Not like wear him as
you
living.
Son of a...
living. like you just put him on your shoulders. And
use the leftover ones as scarves. Whatever. The ones that don't work out.
This is an evil plan, but it's not that bad.
It's so bad now. No, it's already evil before you even started to explain. As you try to like pointing out in an endearing way about this cat that you love. Maybe don't be also like Hannibal Lecter about it.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so we're going to have a large production run, and there's going to eventually be an oversupply. And once there's an oversupply, we're going to start using this oversupply to secretly test their genomes to find out, okay, what makes Scott live longer? What makes Scott stronger? What makes Scott not need to sleep so he can pod 24/7?
Actually, be pretty sweet.
Yeah, that would be the best thing.
You know what's funny about, there's just a little tangent, but like we don't even know, like we know that you do certain things. Like I mean, I remember when I was lecturing back in my university days, and it's like people, like my anatomy students would like ask me like, why do we cry or why do we laugh? And I'd be like, I don't know, because rhythmic contractions of the diaphragm make you feel good and give you a dopamine response. I don't know. Like, why do we sleep? Why do we dream? Like that. Why do we dream and do that kind of stuff? Very simple processes. Why do we smile? It's like it's built in, right? It's not like language. It's body language, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's really interesting. So like, what if you can knock out the sleep part of the genome that says...
What are the consequences, do you think, that would be?
Yeah, I know. We don't know because we don't know what it does, but it's like, untapped potential. So it'd be really interesting to see what would happen if you could knock that out and maybe knock off some other things too. Like, what if we took because you have it's like built into your genome. Part of it's related to your actual biological structure with telomere links and everything like that, whether or not you're going to age, but it's actually kind of built in. The aging process is kind of built into our bodies. What if you could knock out all those processes that make you age, thus making Scott Immortal
potting machine. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I brought David on. This is the key to getting SCOTTCast to most greatest of all time GOAT podcasting glory.
Yes.
I will be the podcast that always was.
It doesn't matter if you're even that good. You're just going to be around longer. Just through attrition, you're going to wear down your competition.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I just imagine. Okay, let's say I'm immortal.
That's an interesting concept.
Okay, so let's say I have that in the bag. So in 70 years, I'm going to be potting more than anybody's ever potted.
Prolific.
And people are going to treat me like an Academy Award-winning lifetime winner. And since I'm immortal, I'm just getting started, baby.
Yeah. No, it's like barely even the tip of the iceberg.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's my strategy with SCOTTCast. As many SCOTTcasts as possible, as fast as possible, and for as long as possible. Eventually, SCOTTCast is going to be the best broadcast ever created.
Well, that's step one. Okay.
So step one is becoming
step
immortal.
One is immortality. Simple.
Yeah, and
simple.
You're going to help me out with that, right?
Well, let's talk about how maybe that would happen, right? Okay,
Please.
So, I mean, we could... Right now, we just don't have the technology to kind of go in there and knock out those genes and know what they do. However, when you start talking about human advancement, which is something I feel like we're going to talk about every now and then just because I like to think about it. I'd like to think about how we can tweak certain things in our bodies and optimize. I'm all about being optimal, right?
Yeah.
So if you were to use like a technology to alter the genes, what would it be? And right now, what it looks like is nanobots, nanotechnology, nanomedicine, nano everything.
So like little Rosie
NaNoWriMo.
the robots in your body, repairing your body and making you a better.
Yeah,
creature.
essentially they're, on the what's a nano, like a billionth of a meter or something like that. So
Something.
yeah, it's not a micron, because like a micrometer would be even smaller, but a nanometer, a nanobot would be at the cellular level. So it would be able to go in, and right now it's being looked at for like cancer treatments. Everything starts with a good premise, or at least in the healthcare industry, what it would make a lot of money. Well, I don't know, because some people think that cancer is not going to be cured because it makes people too much money. Like the
you
ever heard of that?
evil pharmaceutical. What's the
pharma.
better?
Big pharma.
Big pharma's plan.
Yeah. Well,
They probably already
could be a
have all
thing.
those immortality pills
Yeah.
and all that stuff. They're probably doing the SCOTTCast thing, but with that, see, at least when I'm evil, the only thing that happens is everybody gets a very entertaining show.
which is that so bad, Scott?
It's great. I think I'm doing a service for the world.
Speaking of immortality and cancer, though, one thing about cancer cells, though, is they don't have a Hayflick limit, which is the ability to. There's a certain limit to how many times your cells can reproduce over and over again before they shorten themselves. They cut off the end of the rope too many times. And, anyways, the point is, like, cancer cells don't have that. They don't really have a Hayflick limit, so they can they're so hard to kill. They're almost like immortal cells. You're trying to kill what cannot be killed, almost, right? And that's why it's so hard. And there's so many different types of cancer, but that's kind of a overgeneralization. But some people have actually looked into that. Like, okay, well, if cancer cells are so resilient, why can't we adapt our own tissues to have that too?
Are these is this like the military? Like they're going to be like creating super soldiers made out of cancer?
That would be actually, yeah. That would be a possibility. And so that's the thing too, is like, are you going to go the biological route to enhance humans, or are you going to go the technology, or both? Some people are so worried about, genetic selection, and I think, we've talked about if you could modify your kids, right, and say like, you don't want them to have this debilitating disease, right? I don't want to have them die when they're 3 years old. Okay, knock that out. But where do we draw the line at, like, how much do you actually get to control, your kids? Can you choose their eye color? Can you choose their hair color? Or, can you choose whether or not they're going to have a high IQ?
Is it going to be like The Sims?
Yeah. And it's like, and that's what you were talking about, where like you select the perfect children, and those children would come from rich families because they can afford the actual procedure. And then those rich people, they become successful.
Like I was saying,
exactly.
I was saying to my friend.
Yeah.
The classes will end up separating themselves based on the genetically superior race. And I'm saying if I become genetically superior before everybody else, I can create a broadcast that is so good that everyone just watches it and they find peace with each other. And we don't have to worry about this mad rush to genetic perfection. Yeah. People will just be like, why do we need to obtain genetic perfection if we can just watch SCOTTCast
and worship him?
I didn't say that.
What?
I didn't say that. This is Easter weekend.
If he could just bring all the people together like some kind of deity, then it would be like the best thing.
I'm just saying if I was immortal,
okay,
I would have a really good podcast.
Yeah, it wouldn't go to your head at all.
Well, the podcast is already going to my
Power
head.
corrupts, absolutely, Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolute power.
But you know what the military funding of genetic experimentation reminds me of?
Jurassic Park.
Of course. Of course.
Of course.
I love Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park is the greatest movie ever made. Do you agree?
Of course.
Thank God somebody knows how to be on this show. There's
only like
points for David.
There's only like 3 rules on this show, and that's one rules. Of them. Acknowledge Jurassic Park. There's a mural of the girl with the Jello pudding. I mean the Jello. Not Jello pudding.
It's a painting.
Wait, does Jello make pudding too? That's confusing.
It's just Jello.
I know, but like, doesn't Jello also make pudding?
They have a brand. The Jello brand has a pudding.
That's confusing. Anyways, you have a mural of the girl with the Jello on her spoon, looking at what's most likely velociraptors.
Ariana Richards painted. It's a print.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a smaller frame that will suit just the picture, but I'll put a picture on it for the podcast.
Put it up.
Take a look.
It's pretty cool.
I like it.
She's genuinely frightened.
Yeah.
Possibly because she's not sure if that's how velociraptors are like accurately depicted, but she's not.
Yeah,
she's not
definitely
sure.
thinking about the scientific accuracy of the genetic part cloning process. Jurassic Park.
As you should in that situation. I mean, she's interrupting. She can't even enjoy her Jello over it. So
Yeah.
it's sad.
So the news I have about Jurassic Park this week.
Oh, there's
is-
news.
I do have news. Is I was browsing YouTube and I found a broadcast that, okay, SCOTTCast is going to be the greatest broadcast ever, but right now it's not. Right now on YouTube, there's a guy on YouTube that's dedicated to Jurassic Park film facts and trivia and discussion, and it is a rabbit hole I went down in for hours. It is the better if people need to all listen to this stuff. He talks about the Spinosaurus. He talks about Jurassic Park 3. He talks about all sorts of things.
Oh, so remind me, I was listening to, as a loyal listener, to you explain how you were actually in one of the Jurassic Park films. What was it? It was a website
Yeah.
that you were
On the
selling
Jurassic
something
World website.
that you still like own or something.
I own a website called dinopit.com. And on the Jurassic World website, they have a list of the dinosaurs created for Jurassic World. It's a mock-up website that's supposed to look like the actual Jurassic World's website. So on Microceratus, they have it, which is a small like Triceratops kind of
Does
creature.
it have serrated?
No.
Why is it called serratus?
It's called Microceratus because it means small horned. It is used to be called Microceratops, which is just a small.
Which has the serrated thing. Oh yeah, sorry,
It's not serrated like a knife. Okay. It's spelled different.
Okay. I'm just thinking of your serratus anterior, which is one of your muscles.
Okay.
From the Latin serratus.
Maybe it's something like that.
Serratus in Latin means
It just means
serrated. Yeah.
something like that.
Okay.
So on the Jurassic World website, they had a silhouette picture of the Microceratus, and that silhouette picture is pixel for pixel, like a silhouette picture that I have on my DinoPit website.
Oh.
And they took it from that, and I found out that they did this because there was a Jurassic Park Wikipedia article that specifically points out
Oh really?
the use between DinoPit
Citation
and the
by
website.
an anonymous user
Yeah.
named Scott.
No, it wasn't even by me. It wasn't even. I found it. It was great.
That's funny.
So, and in the Jurassic World movie, you can see it most prominently when the Tyrannosaurus and the Indominus Rex are attacking each other, and they're in the gift shop,
Yeah.
and there's a red T-shirt with all the icons on it.
Yeah.
Mine is the tiny Microceratus.
Okay, so are they hiding behind it?
Yeah, it's like on
You
the
should
rack.
give like the timestamp on the DVD where people
I'll
can
put a
look it up.
screenshot on the video.
You should. I want to see it.
Okay, I'll
Yeah.
put that up.
Okay, sorry. What were we talking about before that?
So no, this was just a diversion that I planned in advance so I can insert Jurassic Park into this podcast
Well,
because the Jurassic Park quotient is way too low.
just like nature, you find a way, Scott.
That's right.
Yeah, just inject a little frog
SCOTTCast
in
finds a way.
you. Just put a little frog in your DNA, and next thing you know.
Next thing you know, I'm switching genders and attacking a park of tourists.
Oh, let's just pick the one specific, one of the only members of the mammal kingdom that the animal kingdom that can just spontaneously change sex and have kids.
And also that lysine deficiency, we don't need to continue talking about it.
I'm sure it's been beaten to death. I'm sure you can check it out on whatever the channel is that you're plugging,
Oh, for sure.
even though we didn't mention their name.
So we're coming up towards the end of our pod, man.
Okay.
And I want to talk about the future of SCOTTCast. Before we talk about the future of SCOTTCast, which is cyber hacking and stuff like that, you want to be able to subscribe to SCOTTCast the old-fashioned way, using email or your favorite podcasting app. Go to scottcast.us, not scottcast.com, and you will find all sorts of little ways to join the SCOTTCast Legion. Get updated weekly about all the SCOTTCast happenings. I pod multiple times per week because it's just what I do. So let's talk about cyber hacking and how people can eventually subscribe to the podcast in their minds.
Okay. Well, we're jumping ahead a bit, but basically you skip a few steps. All right, let's assume that you've already kind of modified everybody. Okay. And say that you have, worked out all the kinks and you're in complete control. Mm-hmm. And, this immortal being, you're like, you know, a cyborg essentially.
Right.
Because you've enhanced yourself to the point where you've got all these crazy abilities, you know, and you've enhanced yourself biologically and with the, you know, the nanobots and everything, and then you're all powerful. So what do the hackers want to do? Okay, now if everybody in the future, let's just imagine a future where everybody has decided to be like Scott, okay, which is pretty
Which
plausible.
is probably going to happen. I mean, people are kind of like that anyway.
So naturally, the natural order of things is that everybody wants to be like Scott. They want to be like, this guy has some sweet enhancements. Let's get him too. And they have a chip in their head, okay? And it's wireless because let's be real, we're not living in the Matrix where you need to plug yourself in. Okay? Wireless. Let's get with the times here, okay?
Bluetooth, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, some derivative of Bluetooth, I'm
Blue
sure.
vertebrae.
Yeah. Blue bone. And so basically you have like something that you can interface with the internet. You can you know, basically, I mean, they even have this nowadays where they're trying to look into it for like spinal cord injury people that's controlling their own limbs.
Okay.
Like, you know, they get like, you know, they have control over machines just through their thoughts. I mean, the Japanese have done it too. They can control things with their minds. They, you know, directly plug into their brain, and their thoughts can cause actions to happen to machines.
So I want to be able to pod like that, just 24/7.
Right.
And spitting out pods just by thinking.
Right, just with your thoughts, right?
That's right.
So in that situation, though, what you run into is there's people who aren't okay with the power, even if you are a good deity to your people, Scott.
I would be.
There's always going to be the people who say, yeah, let's disrupt the order, though, right? Because we're not up there.
Well, that.
So I'm saying you're going to need some firewalls, okay? Because what you're going to have is what's called cyber hacking. Now, let's not even just imagine you're the deity, which you will be. Let's say before that, people even have this problem. If you have cyber hacking, like someone could literally take control of your body and make you do stuff that you don't want to do because you have essentially a cyber brain, okay? So it's linked with your nervous system. They could essentially hack you and make you do stuff.
Just don't open weird emails.
Yeah, don't click on that clickbait.
Don't cyber hack with the Nigerian princess.
When your thoughts are wandering, that's the part. Your thoughts are going to wander to areas they shouldn't, and they're going to click on some things that they shouldn't be clicking on.
Always be careful of your search history, folks.
Always use cyber protection before you have a cyber connection with a cyber. That's actually probably when you could never mind. You could probably actually connect in a way that you can't nowadays. So, anyways,
okay. So if you were worried, if you wanted to get to the olden days where people could connect on a more emotional level, we're gonna have to wait until we can cyber link up with each other. We're in the dead days of society and of humanity. So there you go. With that said, I want to wish everybody a happy week.
Happy Easter.
No, because it's gonna go on after Easter. I hope you had one.
Oh. Well, we always have to do this before a holiday, so...
No, but that's, you don't have to mention it. This is dropping on a Wednesday.
Oh, it is Wednesday.
Yeah.
Right now when it's dropping.
Yeah.
It went back in time for a second there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Easter was great.
Easter was the best Easter I've had.
Okay, me too.
Me as well.
All right, from the super colorful original telecommunicated transmission, otherwise known as SCOTTCast, I bid thee adieu.
I do.